The Federation's rise to power had started years ago, when the great energy-producing deserts were destroyed. The world powers that depended on them collapsed, and in their wake, the Federation began to rise. The Federation united all of South America under one banner, and devoured everything in its path as it moved relentlessly to the north. After turning Odin against us, the Federation stood on the doorstep of America, poised for the kill. They thought we were weak, crippled, prey, waiting to be taken. We fought hard. We fought well. We fought them to a bloody stalemate. And here, just beyond the craters of No Man's Land, we find ourselves in a defensive war against a more powerful enemy.
Let's talk about the Federation, probably one of the most unique factions that we've gone up against in the old Call of Duty franchise. I will be talking about their complete history, from how they formed, from how they expanded, to their goals, to their leaders, and as well as what happened to them at the end of the events of Call of Duty Ghosts. Now, the Federation serves as the main antagonist in Call of Duty Ghosts, and they are a socio-political, economic, and military union of North, Central, and South American nations that have risen to power. Basically, what that means is they gain power by politics, money, and obviously by joining their militaries as one. And the capital of the Federation is in Venezuela. The primary languages in the Federation is Spanish, Portuguese, French, and other indigenous languages are also present as well. It's also said that the Federation took over different countries in some ways, or even worse methods than they're trying to do with the US, which is kind of crazy to talk about because I don't even think we hear about that. We only hear about the US and how bad they are towards US citizens. So even though the Federation was one of the world's leading superpowers, they had a very hostile approach towards global affairs. They even killed UN negotiators? What? That sounds real crazy. Okay. The Federation justified this action by claiming the US had directed global affairs in its own destructive interests for too long. The remaining NATO nations turned against the Federation to support the US, however the rest of the world was forced to continue working with the Federation or fight against them. While it is unknown who leads the Federation after Diego's death, Gabriel Rourke is one of their top agents, if not the leader. This is kind of like a little side note, but in the Call of Duty Ghosts lore book, and I might be wrong on this, but someone in the comment section of one of my older videos told me that Diego's son basically took over his position. I don't know, but if you're watching this, please drop some knowledge about that because I couldn't find anything about this. In the early 21st century, the Federation was established in the wake of conflicts in the Middle East that accumulated in the Tel Aviv War, which devastated the entire region and the oil supply, triggering a global energy crisis. Side note, this is also where the Ghosts get their origin story in Iran, and I think I'll let Elias explain it.
It was a different time, a different enemy. 60 men from Tier 1 teams were sent to face down a force of 500 enemy fighters. Their objective? To force the enemy back from a civilian hospital and keep its occupants alive. For 3 days they held their ground, but the enemy's numbers were too great. The 60 were cut down to 15. They wouldn't last another night, and the enemy knew it. Under the cover of darkness, they evacuated the hospital, sending only one of their own to lead the way. The rest returned to the line and took up positions beneath the bodies of their fallen brothers. As they lay in wait, the blood from the dead poured over them. The sand stuck to their skin like a shroud, changing them, anointing them. When the enemy drew near, the remaining 14 rose out of the desert sand. They were like hunters that couldn't be seen, using stealth their enemies couldn't defend against. When the men ran dry of ammunition, they used their blades. And when the blades ran dull, they used their hands. When the dust and sand had settled, only one of the enemy had survived. He was picked up in the desert, wandering aimlessly, traumatized. He expressed warnings to others of a force so menacing and unbeatable, it could only be described as supernatural. He called them ghosts.
First world countries around the globe were crippled, like the US and their NATO allies, as well as Russia, China, and India, with these nations spread thin, trying to maintain order. So basically, to summarize that, these guys would not have risen to power if a huge ass war was not going on that crippled the whole fucking world, it seems like. I'm just saying. This is when the remaining oil-rich South American countries, Venezuela, Argentina, Brazil, and Chile, united on June 2nd, 2014 to form the Federation of Americas to monopolize their own resources and consolidate power over their neighbors. Under the military leadership of the strongly anti-American General Diego, the Federation spread unchecked throughout the rest of South America. He also intensified his rhetoric while demanding the arrest or execution of every US-born individual living in Federation territory, which would mean countless deaths of Americans, which would obviously not sit well with the US. This was when the war would start between the US and the Federation, and a ghost-led military operation was mounted in mid-2015 to assassinate Diego in Venezuela. And during this fighting with the US Marines and the Federation soldiers, while Almagro attempts to escape, he does a scorched earth tactic by flooding his own city and escaping via helicopter. Well, at least he tries to escape, but the ghosts fight through the Federation soldiers and end up clearing all of them with Rourke as the leader, and they catch up to Diego's helicopter as it takes off and kills him. This is also when Gabriel Rourke was lost in the flood that later resulted in him being captured and brainwashed by the Federation.
We're going down! Hold on! Everyone good? Too heavy. Elias, I need you to... Shit, Rock! Somebody grab him! The whole thing's shifting! It's breaking apart! We gotta move now! What are we doing here, Elias? We can't save him! Elias! We're too heavy! You gotta let him go! Elias!
So what did you do?
I made the hardest decision of my life. I let him go and saved the others.
Now let's talk about how the Federation broke Rourke and remolded him into their ultimate fighting weapon against the Americans. Rourke struggled to survive the years of captivity and was a victim of not only the chemical, psychological, and physical torture methods that were perfected by the CIA, but the ancient Amazonian methods of torture that was used by the Federation forces had one goal: to reprogram America's greatest weapon into its greatest threat. This is how they transformed Gabriel Rourke and made him hate the ghosts and the US as a whole. Over the next years, the Federation's economy flourished and moved forward, invading and conquering other countries in Central America and the Caribbean. In the near future, the US had deployed the Orbital Defense Initiative as an ultimate deterrent against any foreign attack, seemingly securing safety against any further Federation aggression. The Federation countered this weapon on July 10, 2017 by smuggling a strike team in a routine supply shuttle to Odin's command station. While surviving US personnel on board the command station managed to scuttle it before all the Odin's projectiles could be fired, the US South and Southwest were decimated, most notably Southern California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and Louisiana.
Ignite those RCS fuel lines!
You heard him, Baker! Fire! I got you, Baker! Just keep shooting!
15 degrees. 23 degrees. That's it. That's enough to drop it into the atmosphere. Specialist Mosley. Kira. We have LOS with the crew of Odin Control. Repeat, loss of signal with Odin Control.
And there are really some people out there that do not like this game's campaign. Bro, this shit is peak right here. Anyways, let's continue. The Federation immediately followed their surprise attack on Odin with a massive land invasion of the US. A decade later, the war between the Federation and the US had been fought to a stalemate, where the front lines stabilized among the ruins of the southwestern US cities. As the US prepared to renew its campaign to expel the invaders, increased Federation activity in no man's land resulted in the city of Dallas falling virtually overnight thanks to intelligence gathered from captured civilians within the ruins. Then the ghosts are sent to no man's land, where we see Rourke with other Federation soldiers. The Federation then launched a full-scale attack on Fort Santa Monica days later. Unknown to the US, these offensives were a prelude to Operation Homecoming, the Federation's final push to win the war. Over the previous decade, the Federation Science Division had devoted itself to reverse engineering Odin from the wreckage and information provided by the Ghost leader, Gabriel Rourke. The result was the Federation satellite array codenamed Loki and FedSat by the US, a more streamlined version of Odin designed to fire rods of varying sizes for precision strikes. Once operational, the array could be used to destroy the remaining US major cities and its military, effectively crippling and destroying the US. Before the array was activated, the Ghosts learned of its existence after raiding the shop, the array's manufacturing facility in Rio, where the Federation was keeping the satellite production hidden. Then in Las Vegas, Rourke and the Federation, using the information that Ajax told them earlier on in the campaign, the Federation sprung a trap for the Ghosts, capturing and interrogating all of them, resulting in the death of Elias Walker.
Do it yourself. You're awake. Good. Nice to have the family back together, isn't it? We're just missing our quiet friend. Where's Keegan?
You know I'm not telling you a damn thing.
No? Let's see if I can change your mind. Easy, Junior. I ain't even started with you yet.
Logan, look at me. Look at me, son.
That's right. You look at him. That's it. Show him how much pain he's causing you. Funny thing about your old man, he lets his men die to save his own ass.
Damn it, Rourke. This is between you and me. Leave my boys out of it.
You're talking to a superior, Lieutenant. Show some discipline.
You were never one of us. You're not a ghost.
Well, that's just because I'm better than you. I've always been better than you! But you call yourself a ghost? You're nothing. You and your sons are dead. Your name dies with you. Oh, he's still got a little life in him. Didn't he ever tell you not to aim guns at people? They could go off! That's it. Just a little more. That way. Come on.
Stop!
Point it at Dad.
Logan! Logan!
Whew. You got fire in you, kid. I like that. Risking your life to protect your captain. You could learn something from him, Elias.
He's my son.
Yeah? And he's gonna get to watch you die.
I'll kill you, you hear me? I'll kill you, son of a bitch! I'm gonna kill you! Motherfucker! I'm proud of you, Logan. Everything's gonna be okay.
Oh, you are right, Elias. I'm not a ghost. I'm the man that hunts them and sends them back to the other side.
Then the US marshaled the last of its naval forces to launch an incursion to capture Loki's primary control center in Chile. Despite being heavily defended, the facility was breached and destroyed, allowing a US Air Force squad to attack the array's command station in space and redirect Loki's fire against the Federation's ground and naval forces. Despite the Ghost's failure to kill Rourke and Logan's capture, much of the Federation forces were destroyed and Loki was captured, weakening it to the point where they no longer had a military advantage over the US. So after going over just about their complete history, I think it's fair to say their goals were to keep expanding. They were not going to stop at the US. And obviously another goal was to kill all US born individuals for some reason. I guess they just didn't like us. It's never really specified why, but they just don't like us. So, I mean, that's cool, I guess. Now that I think about it, the Federation really has a lot of similarities to World War II Germany in a way. How they were expanding and trying to expand everywhere, all US born individuals being eliminated like a certain World War II Germany leader was doing to a certain group of people, and I'm just now realizing this while going over the complete history, so keep that in mind when you're playing this game, that this Federation really has a lot of parallels or similarities to World War II Germany. Also, let's look at these damn sigils or emblems of each branch. These don't scream World War II Germany, or at least heavily inspired by World War II Germany. At least to me they do, and if you disagree, I disagree with you. So in conclusion, they really just wanted to take over the world. It seems like typical villain stuff, albeit not really typical Call of Duty villain stuff, but that's, I guess, what kind of makes them a little unique, I suppose. Thank you so much for watching.